Hello, hello, hello. A very warm welcome to all our friends, viewers, stakeholders, fans of Africa Rise with Susan West. It is a Saturday today. We are broadcasting on Saturday today. Usually we will do Saturday and Sunday, and oftentimes, we skip some Saturdays, but we're broadcasting today. So, yes, welcome to another interesting, informative, educative episode of Africa Rise with Susan West. Today, we're going to be doing a lot of Zambia and the former president, the very first president of Zambia after independence, President Kenneth Kaunda. I know a lot of us read about him in the books growing up, but today we have his grandson, Dr. Charles Sinkala, joining us to help us understand Zambia as a country and his grandfather, President Kenneth Kaunda. So please, as you join this broadcast, do the needful, which is invite your friends, share this broadcast, and of course, send in your questions and comments as you may have them. Keep it respectful. And if you haven't liked, followed, or subscribed to our channels, please do so. It is Africa Rise TV on YouTube, Africa Rise TV on Facebook, and of course, Africa_Rise.tv on Instagram. Share this broadcast, invite your friends, and let's keep the conversation rolling. Just before I bring Dr. Charles Sinkala, allow me to give this presentation a picture, a photo collage that will help us, for some of us who don't really know much, to understand the person, President Kenneth Kaunda. Oh, yes, welcome back. So that's a little bit of picture story telling us who President Kenneth Kaunda was, and the strides and the accomplishments. Just before we took that video picture collage, we had Dr. Sinkala in the back studio, but for some reason, I can't find him. I think some kind of network problem. I know that he will try to rejoin. In the meantime, I'll just give a little bio on President Kaunda. Former President of Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda, has passed away at age 97. Kenneth Kaunda, Zambia's first president and one of the last of the generation of African leaders who fought colonialism, has died at age 97. This is something from the BBC I got. Kaunda was admitted to a military hospital in the capital, Lusaka, on Monday, suffering from pneumonia. His aides said he did not have COVID-19. In the 1950s, Kaunda was a key figure in what was then Northern Rhodesia's independence movement from Britain. You see why it's so important. He's such an important figure on the African continent. He became president following independence in 1964. That is just a short, brief, bio on late former president of Zambia. And I do hope that we're able to get Dr. Charles Sinkala, who was here just a moment ago. Oh, yes. Welcome, David Barango. He says the last man standing. Absolutely the last man of that era standing. I do hope that we can get Dr. Charles Sinkala. He was on time. He was there in the back studio. What happened, I'm sure, is a network problem. So we'll just give him a little bit of time to rejoin the broadcast. In the meantime, I think I would just take a short commercial and find out why he disappeared.
This is Femi Anikula Kukuti. You're watching Susan Rice on African West. Keep watching.
I urge all of you who know what it means to be African, all of you who may not know what it means to be African, all of you who are on the journey of awakening, all of you who need enlightenment and continued support, to tune in to Africa Rise with Susan West. And to you, Susan, as a mother, I want to thank you for all the great work that you're doing to uplift us, to continue to engage us, to inform us, and also challenging us to engage in those conversations, difficult as they may be. You are taking us there. So Susan West, Africa Rise, keep up the great work.
Africa Rise with Susan West.
All right. Yeah, so I was just on the phone to Dr. Charles Sinkala, who said there was a problem with power, and he's coming back on. So just in a moment, we will have him back on in the studio. Rahina Bello, greetings, welcome. Yes, so today we're talking about President Kenneth Kaunda. For those of you watching, if you remember, tell me the moment or the times that you read about President Kenneth Kaunda, how you knew about President Kenneth Kaunda. Did you read about him in your school books? What was your impression about President Kenneth Kaunda? Send in your comments. Johnny Boy, oh, greetings, welcome. Dr. Charles Sinkala is here. Thank goodness. Okay. Right. So as you join the broadcast, please share, invite your friends, send your questions and comments. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you knew about President Kenneth Kaunda. I want to know because a lot of us are deprived of African history beyond our borders. But we had the opportunity to read about President Kenneth Kaunda, even though in primary school, I thought he was some imaginary figure. When I finally grew up to understanding that this is a real human being who still lives on the earth here with us, I was so amazed. All right, I don't know what's going on. Dr. Charles Sinkala, the network is really messing about, but we will keep trying. It never happens because Dr. Charles Sinkala is joining us from South Africa. But you know, you can never vouch for these things, technology. Yes. So send in your comments. Tell me, share your memories of who you remember Kenneth Kaunda to be. He just passed away a few days ago at 97, just by some kind of providence. I don't know. He was still here when I contacted Dr. Charles Sinkala and said, we should do something on Zambia. Because I ran into a very, very old man at the bus stop here in London who is Indian. And then he struck a conversation with me and he said, where are you from? And I said, oh, I'm Nigerian. And he said to me, I'm African Indian. So I laughed and I said, oh, that's interesting. It's the first time I've heard an Indian person call themselves African Indian. So he said, guess which country I'm from. So I went, Kenya. He said, no, most people will guess Kenya. I said, where else? And then he goes, Zambia. And then he started to share very fond memories of his time in Zambia, as a child. And we kept talking and talking. He began to educate me about the place he was born in that was called Lower Hill. Now that was renamed after independence to Kabwe. Kabwe, I remember that. Dr. Charles is back. And so that made me say, oh, I should do something on Zambia. And to wake up the following day, of course, this old man has shared with me that the former president was ill and taken to the hospital. And so, anyway, cut long story short, Dr. Charles Sinkala is here again. I do hope that the network will let us have this pleasant conversation. Raina Bello says, African history is a rich one, yet unknown. Absolutely. Dr. Charles Sinkala, welcome. He's frozen. Oh, my word. Early breaks from Geneva. Bonsoir. Can you hear me, Dr. Charles Sinkala? For those of you who don't know, I'm sure now that I'm going to say you can see the striking resemblance of Dr. Charles Sinkala to President Kenneth Kaunda. He is his grandson. Dr. Sinkala, if you can hear me, please respond. It looks like you're frozen. Oh, yes, he is frozen. Oh, my God. We've never had to deal with this ever, every time I've had Dr. Sinkala on this program. So I'm wondering why it's happening today. So, yes, please go ahead and continue to send in your memory of President Kenneth Kaunda. He was, of course, in the league of, the Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe. You could see the pictures, the video that I played earlier on. You can see him with Martin Luther King and I think I saw pictures of him with Mobutu Sese Seko. Yes. And all these people. These were the people that fought for the independence of their different countries, freeing Africa from colonialism, at least the colonialism the way we used to know it at the time. And like my brother David Barango says, the last man standing. Dr. Charles Sinkala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers.
Right. So please go ahead now that you can hear me. Please go ahead and, of course, share a bit of the story of Zambia before independence and after independence, and how your grandfather came about to become the first president of Zambia. Introduce yourself first, if you will.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm an African from Zambia, and we are part of the grandchildren of Dr. who only Zambian, but is an African for the rest of the continent. And we regard him as highly, very, very lucrative investment in terms of inspirational onto the continent. Dr. Kaunda was not only a Zambian leader, but a leader and inspirational to many people. If we look across his history from the time he came to Zambia from the missionary parents. You know, he was the youngest child out of 7. His parents migrated from Malawi. They came to God, and through that time he got the education in Zambia, and he was graduated as a teacher. So from there he did involve himself in a lot of activities through the schools and through community liaison works and and charity work. And also throughout his years, opportunity came for him to be Secretary General of the African National Congress, which is the ANC here in South Africa. And through that a lot of doors opened, and he was the only courageous person who stood up among many Zambians, in terms of leadership, who took on the colonial masters, who the British was. And I think the last standing British governor was Evelyn Horn, Sir Evelyn Horn, who was the last one in Zambia, and he took him on at that time, and it was not that fashionable. A lot of people warned him that you cannot take on the white people, they're going to kill you and they're going to kill the parents. But he was very courageous, and he said, if the fate is for me to die and my family to die, to choose the liberation of Zambia and the African continent, so be it. Because that's a purpose that he identified himself as a leader to stand up and speak for the people. Many people admired that and started gaining noticing, including within the Zambian circles and outside. You must remember, except that during that time, there was not much of the photos and documentary and news that we can visually like now. But a few of the archives, if you visit him at the time he was alive in Zambia, you could find that there was photos. We could see the photos with him, Mahatma Gandhi from India. We could see the photos with him with Malcolm X. We could see the photos with him with the Dr. Martin Luther King. We could see the photos with him with Kwame Nkrumah. We could see the photos with him with Kamuzu Banda from Malawi, and many other leaders, who started the agitation of the African independence, because these people had one Africa must be liberated, from the colonial yoke and these masters who are taking over and using us as servants instead of us being in charge. So this is how he said, agitating for the independence. And of course, in Zambia, we are blessed that in 1964, we regained our independence and he was made the first democratically elected president of Zambia.
Wow.
Dr. Kaunda, he was not just a leader, he was somebody who was looking after many other, because he had those networks. And one will wonder how the Mahatma Gandhi, how Malcolm X, how Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu in South Africa, how were they communicating under difficult circumstances? They had information which was reaching them. And immediately when he attained the position as president of Zambia, he made Lusaka to be the head office of the ANC, because he had another project in South Africa to distinguish the apartheid regime, and many of these people are the leaders of Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, and many other leaders within the ANC circles. Many others have died because they had not recognized them. But you must remember that one thing we can learn from President is that, he regarded people irrespective of where they are coming from. when these freedom fighters from SWAPO, from Zimbabwe and Tanzania and many other African countries who were agitating for the he regarded them as Africans, only were distinguished by a passport. And what he used to do, which was very funny, and we used to laugh many times, you know, he could say, okay, you've got a passport, and this passport is saying South Africa, or this document is saying Nigeria. I'll give you the Zambian passport so that I can recognize you, you know, whom, you know, unfortunately, the past 2 days, had to say goodbye to us all, you know, in recognition that he has finished the race and he kept the faith, you know, and we
Oh, what a pity.
supposed
I
to
can't
just to
believe.
dig down the information and learn from his leadership and how we can move forward.
Wow. You know, Pan Africanists like them, they've all gone. They've all gone. So, talk to us about how loved he was as a president of Zambia. Have bearing in mind that he was a president for decades, you know, after independence. How loved was he by his people? Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. Today of all days. We've never had network issues with Dr. Sinkala coming on. I was so confident we're going to have a brilliant show today. But please bear. Send in your
Yeah,
comments.
challenge today.
Send in your comments of your memories of the late President Kenneth Kaunda. And if you have any questions for Dr. Sinkala, please do not hesitate to send them in. This is, oh, my word. I am lost for words because I did not anticipate what's happening right now. For those of you who missed the first part of this, I'm going to play it again so that you can understand some of what we're talking about. Yes, Dr. Sinkala has disappeared again from the back studio. Unfortunately, we have no control over these things as far as network goes. This is the first time we've had this problem with Dr. Sinkala joining us from South Africa. Do bear. We'll see how much we can manage for today's broadcast. So far, so good. Yeah, so my memory of President Kenneth Kaunda are very fond ones, especially from what I read. And unfortunately, one of the things that the pandemic has taken away from me is the fact that during this time, there are many people that I have penned down that I was going to have an interview with physically, traveling to their countries. And President Kaunda was one of them. I really did look forward to going to Zambia when the lockdown was lifted to have my special interview with him. And here I am, lost opportunity. He was 97. This is a celebration of life. This was a Pan-Africanist who stuck his neck out and who didn't care whether his life was threatened, as far as he could achieve for his country what he thought was right. So I really do appreciate and celebrate people like that. And in this generation, we cannot boast of many of them, but we still do have a few. And they will continually surprise us as they make themselves available in the public space for us to know them. So I'm just doing this talk and still waiting to see that Dr. Charles Sinkala can join us again. And hopefully the network will be better. So we'll give about a few minutes to see if he can join in, and So this old man I met at the bus stop who was talking fondly about Zambia, and he considers Zambia his home country. And I asked him why. He said because his parents migrated to Zambia a very long time ago, before the independence, during the colonial rule. And all he knew, or all he knows, is Zambia. All he knows is that he is African, even though he looks Indian. And so he began to share with me his fond memories of Zambia, and also went ahead to show me pictures. He said, I was a tailor back in Zambia, and I was opportuned to make the wedding suit for one of President Kenneth Kaunda's sons. He did mention his name. I cannot recollect at the moment. And so he began to, share his pictures with me at the bus stop. All this was happening. He was showing me pictures. He gave me his phone. He said, look at it. I made him the suit for his wedding, and so on and so forth. And that for me, little did I know that in the spirit realm, there were pointers that, we will be really talking about President Kaunda, and that's the reason why I ran into that gentleman. And of course, it's a pity that Dr. Charles Sinkala is having network issues. We will give him a few more moments to see if he can. Or maybe we will reschedule this broadcast if the network is so terrible. We will definitely try to see how we can schedule this broadcast for another day. But in the meantime, let's give a few more moments. It's about the memories of President Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. And if you would want to send in your comments about this man, if you knew what you knew about him, what you remember him for, that would be pleasant. Let's keep it a two-way communication, all right? Where I'm able to read your thoughts and what you know in responding to it. All right. I've just communicated with Dr. Sinkala, and the network is so terrible. We have to reschedule the topic of today. Do bear. We apologize. We have no control over these things, but we do hope that the next time we come around, that the network, the audio and the visuals will be as crisp as possible. So yes, this is in memory of President Kenneth Kaunda. Unfortunately, the network is not cooperating. I know that you understand. I will catch you next weekend, or maybe tomorrow we will try again. I will talk to Dr. Sinkala on the other side. But this is the much we're going to go for today. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels. It is Africa Rise TV on YouTube, on Facebook, and Africa_Rise.tv on Instagram. Please like, follow, subscribe to our channels. And I will see you maybe tomorrow or next weekend. Take care.